I'm coming to you tonight to make a personal appeal from me to everyone watching this tonight to please do everything you can to support one nation, one poll in our country. If we want to achieve our target of Viksit Bharat by 2047, if we believe that future generations of this country should live in an India which is a developed nation, then we must change our thinking. We must move beyond constant politics and move towards governance. And that is why I want each one of you to do everything possible. Don't be silent. Don't make this just a legislative process. Make this a public process. I appeal to you what the Prime Minister has done today by ensuring that the Cabinet passes one nation, one poll is the single biggest fundamental reform that can change our country's destiny, ladies and gentlemen. We must congratulate and support Prime Minister Modi in this. Some people say, oh, he may not have the numbers, he doesn't have 2/3 in the parliament. Well, we must make that 2/3 possible. You can do that. Because this issue is beyond politics. We must tell those political parties who are looking at this selfishly, don't be selfish about it. Think about the country's destiny. Do you not want our GDP to go up by more than 1%? You know, viewers, that's what people say. They say the GDP of our country presently at 8.2%. Believe me, viewers, it can go up to 10% or more on equal terms. Nothing else changing if we have one nation, one poll. And the reason for this is because the moment we have one nation, one poll, you and I, this entire country, our youngsters, our future generations, all of us will put nation first. We'll talk about infrastructure, we'll talk about growth, we'll talk about what can be done on the ground. We will not talk about issues that divide us. We will talk about bridges, we will talk about telecom, we'll talk about IT, we'll talk about unicorns. We'll talk about beating every country in the world. We will not talk day in and day out about caste politics. Which is the country that we want, ladies and gentlemen? Do we want a country where we constantly talk about divisive issues? Where we have a political party that day in and day out says Sikhs should be divided from the rest of the people in this country. People from this caste should be divided from people from that caste. We must bring everything down, including a Miss India competition, down to caste. You know why that kind of dirty politics happens? Because the politicians are incentivized with the knowledge that every 60 to 90 days in this country there's an election. So we're constantly in that election mode. And the politicians are constantly playing around with the minds of the people. And that's why you see a lack of governance, ladies and gentlemen. What has had different elections? What good has it done to Bengal, for example? That the Bengal elections are not with the national elections. What good has it done? You see the situation in Bengal today, the utter lawlessness. Students protesting, the tyranny of Mamata Banerjee. People like Mamata Banerjee will oppose one nation, one poll because they will think that if there is one nation, one poll and all elections happen together, at all levels of governance, then people will talk about issues that will bring the country forward. And politicians who want to divide the country will not be able to do so. Viewers, therefore, we must support in every which way one nation, one poll. Let me tell you, viewers, it's not about the money, but I want to make a very significant point to you. We keep talking about this. We keep saying, not enough people are taking part in the electoral process. Why do Indians not go out and vote? Yes, it's terrible, it's pathetic. For us, it's a matter of pride when we go to vote. It was over 45 degrees the day I voted, but I felt so proud. I felt empowered. I felt like many of you that we'd done something for the country by just casting our vote. And you know, viewers, if there is one nation, one poll, I can guarantee you, my own estimate is, and there's no exaggeration, the polling numbers will go up by 15 to 20% minimum. Our country will achieve almost 80% voting, viewers, because voter fatigue will end. And let me further this with examples, because those of you watching this may be saying, Arnab's just talking, without facts. But in 1997, there were simultaneous elections in Kerala held along with the national elections. And do you know, viewers, there was a 20% increase in voter participation. How wonderful is that? Is that not good? for the country? Is that not in national interest? Simultaneous elections in northeastern states along with national elections saw an increased voter turnout by 20% in Arunachal Pradesh and 17% in Assam. Because once every 5 years, the people of the country will come out and say, now we will vote for those who deliver or who can deliver. We'll vote against those who have not delivered. And people are smart enough to differentiate between a national election, a municipal election and a state election. Those politicians who say that, oh, this is going to give an upper hand to the BJP or to a national party are completely wrong. People know if they have to vote for a regional party in a state and for a national party at the center, they know that. This is well beyond politics, viewers. Well beyond politics. And so many things will change. The kind of money that is being spent, thousands and thousands of crores, the kind of money going down the drain, the black money that is generated during an election and used during an election, the use of cash, the kind of visuals we have seen. And when that level of corruption stops, ladies and gentlemen, it will have a systemic impact. It will have a systemic impact from the top and from the bottom. On both ends, we will clean our politics forever. And therefore, viewers, without further ado, all of us must come together and do our bit to make it possible as soon as we can. A change we should have made, or rather should I say, something which used to be there in our country till 1967, we should have never let that change. Sometimes it's important to turn the clock back. On this one, it's time we do it now. One nation, one poll. Bharat needs it. Please spread this video so that this message goes across to as many of you, and then let's start a conversation on Republic.